Great wine grows all over the world, but you don't have to travel all the way to California or Italy or Australia to see great wine being made. Odds are, close to your home, there's a local winery where you can have an amazing winery experience. The Cork Dork list of 3 reasons to seek out local wines.
Number 1, if you're like Dan, you're sitting at the home on the weekend thinking, I just wish I could find someone who would talk to me. And guess what? Your local winemaker, that can be the person, because their staff, their team is more than willing to take you in the front door and to show you everything that they do well. You don't know what a crush pad is? They'll show you. You don't know how oak impacts the flavor of wine? They'll show you that too. You see, they want to take that local customer and to develop them. Maybe more than any other place in the world, that local winery is interested in you particularly because they want you to fall in love with their wines.
One of the great local wine experiences is to go at harvest time and have a chance to go into the vineyards and taste fresh grapes, and then go into the winery and taste the wine made from them to see what the influence of the fruit taste really is in the finished wine.
You know, one of the things that you'll see in local restaurants today are chefs really being focused on local vegetables, locally grown products. And the wine business really hasn't quite gotten there yet. The idea of tasting the varieties that do well in your neighborhood is something that's new to people very often. If you love Chardonnay, and that's what's always in your grocery cart, visit your local winery. They might make Chardonnay, but odds are they have local varieties that do especially well in your backyard. And here's a shot to walk in, taste them, see them being made, and really enjoy them. Local winemaking gives you that opportunity that you just can't get anywhere else.
You know, Keith, just like local produce, it's fresh, it's wonderful. Local wines are a great experience. We're on an island in Ohio. How could you be on an island in Ohio, you may wonder? Well, Ohio is the oldest wine-producing state in the country and the largest up until Prohibition. I'm with Claudio Salvador here. What's up with this island?
Well, Firelands Winery has the vineyard in the middle of Lake Erie on Isle St. George. Why? Because Lake Erie, it's a friend of us. It helps growing beautiful grapes here in Ohio. Delay the bud breaking in the spring and prolong the growing season in the fall. So we can grow some wonderful, wonderful grapes here in Ohio.
Now, Claudio, I know you've made wine all over the world. You must have come here having made Cabernet and Merlot and the really famous name grapes. But did you find some things that you could do really well sort of just here in Ohio?
Well, you know, funny that you mentioned. Yes, I work with a lot of these varieties that you mentioned, plus Pinot Grigio, Riesling, and Gewurz. Grapes that we grow over here. But also we do very well with our Catawba, Concord, Delaware, Niagara, which is the typical Labrosca Native American grapes.
Now, this cool climate that you have, not even really cool, this cold climate that you've got in the winter here, does it let you make that famous ice wine that we hear about from the Midwest?
That we do. We use Vidal Blanc grapes for that. And like you said, you know, the weather is very conducive over here. We have temperature in the teens here in December and January, so we produce some wonderful ice wine.
You know, we're down here in one of the oldest wine cellars in America, 1880 here at Firelands, and you've got me stirring up this big barrel of Chardonnay. What am I doing here?
You try to bring up this, the suspension, the lees, the fermentation lees, or the deposit that is forming during fermentation, to give more complexity to these wines.
So we've got all this good stuff on the bottom of the barrel. I'm stirring it up. What kind of flavors would you actually taste in your glass whenever you taste your Chardonnay?
Well, what we try to achieve over here, a nice integration of oak together with a nice butterscotch and vanilla flavors to it.
You know, I think I saw somewhere where the French call this process batonnage because this is a baton. What do you call this here at Firelands?
We call it a stick.
An empty glass is a serious problem. That's why I've decided to take matters into my own hand here at Firelands. If you want wine to show its natural fruit, there's no better way than to use a stainless steel tank, both for the winemaking and storage. This tank holds 30,000 glasses worth of wine, perfect for all but the largest of weekend parties.
You know, have you guys seen Dan around anywhere? I've been looking for him to taste. No, I see him coming now. Somewhere there's a carnival running itself.
20 years ago, when Claudio came to this area, people thought he was crazy. He studied the wine growing opportunities for Ohio, the soil, the climate, and decided the perfect grape to grow in this area was an obscure Italian varietal called Pinot Grigio. Now Pinot Grigio has become the fastest growing grape in America.
You know, I get really great green apple, bright crisp, fresh fruit. Is that what you were shooting for here?
That's exactly what I was shooting for. I was trying to copy an Italian, Northern Italian Pinot Grigio, and I think I found it. Good apple, good green apple, and a nice crispiness to it, typical of a good Pinot Grigio.
Well, if this was a much warmer climate, you'd probably miss a lot of that freshness, wouldn't you?
That's correct. You know, it would make a nice glass of wine, but not crisp like this, like Pinot Grigio should be.
Well, I think I have time for one more glass of wine, but
Yeah.
let's make it a large one. That should
the
do it.
perfect size.
Just to the rim. Here's another term to help you look cool at a party: estate bottled. Estate bottled means the winery grows the grapes and makes the wine. It's a guarantee that the winemaker has complete control of the winemaking process from the time the vine is planted till the time the wine is bottled. Estate bottled. Look for that on a label. Good wine term. Our list of 4 great value wines. You know, sometimes great wines can be overlooked amongst all the famous wines that are out there. For example, in Australia, you often think of Shiraz and Chardonnay, but Australia has been growing great Riesling for over 100 years, especially in Clare Valley, where they make the best Rieslings. This one is called Leasingham Magnus, and for well under $20, you get a wine with fantastic acidity and tremendous fruit. It's good as an appetizer or throughout the meal. Another area that you're hearing a lot about now is Bordeaux, where wines can be over $1,000 a bottle. But there's something called a satellite appellation or satellite village, and that's when a small village runs right up against a famous wine-producing village, and they can actually hyphenate their name and attach it to the famous village. For example, here's Chateau St. George, which is under $30 a bottle, thereabout, and St. George will hyphenate the name against Saint-Emilion, so you know that it's next to that very famous region, but a fraction of the price. Look for also Lussac-Saint-Emilion and the villages of Fronsac and Castillon as great value satellites in Bordeaux.
You know, some of the most expensive red wines in the world are Cabernet Sauvignon, and you might not think you could get good value there, but you can if you look in the right place. Check out this Route 1 Cabernet Sauvignon. It's from Chile, and they're the kings of making good value Cabernet. For over 25 years, starting out with brands like Concha Toro, you've seen incredibly good Cabernet coming into the United States from Chile. The same flavors, berry, cherry, plum, they're all in there, and they're in there for under $12 or $15. Really good value there. Now, if you want to be a little bit more adventurous, check out a new varietal like Malbec. This is Familia Bianchi Malbec, and it grows in Argentina, where they've mastered the grape varietal and really deliver a lot of fruit flavor, all under $20. So if you want to try something new, check out Malbec in the Argentina section in your local wine shop.